What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. And today we're going to be breaking down why Earthshaker has a 49.90% win rate, so basically a 50% win rate. Honestly, this hero is extremely underrated right now in the current meta, and a lot of players seem to not give a crap about this hero right now, and I don't understand why. Now, I'm not one of the biggest support players out there. I'm mostly a core player, but I have been enjoying playing support Earthshaker. I still think Earthshaker should be played as a core mostly, but support Earthshaker is so strong right now. Fissure is in a really good spot. It's doing quite a bit of work, and if you're a good shaker player, you can really do a lot of work. You can control the lane at the start if you want to fissure the lane so it can be in the spot that you guys want it to be. You can do that as well. You can trade easily just because this hero does so much. He's really tanky, and once you get yourself mana boots, which are really cheap nowadays, it's so strong because you have so much mana to work with. You can boost up your offlaner if you're playing it from the position 4 role, and it's really going to help you a lot. I really consider playing Earthshaker when you're playing with a ranged core, so Drow Rangers, Vipers, Razors, heroes that have long range, because they're going to benefit a lot from you locking people down with a well-placed fissure, especially Drow Ranger. I've been playing this matchup quite a bit, and every time I feel like playing some support shaker, I will tell my carry, if it's a good Drow game, please pick it. It's going to be a really good lane, and it typically is, just because frost arrows do a lot of damage and your fissure, and if you place your fissures properly, you're going to do a lot of work with a Drow Ranger. She can easily capitalize on that. If it's a melee hero that you're going up against, they're definitely going to struggle against you guys. Now I'm going to be breaking up some of the builds for core shaker and support shaker. So for core shaker, you should be building treads and then go straight for a blink and an aghanim scepter, and you can go for daedalus silver edge into shard octarine refresher. So that's basically the blow up build where you just jump people and easily kill them with a huge crit. That is kind of like the old school build to play shaker. A lot of other players like to play around the cooldown reduction where they go octarine and they want to play with a Yule Scepter. Those builds can actually work because it makes you extremely survivable. You're just not going to be doing a whole ton of damage when it comes to using your enchant totem. But most of the time right now, even core shakers have been maxing fissure, which is still really strong. If you max aftershock and you max fissure, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. Always take a value point in enchant totem. It can be really nice to secure kills. The stun is going to be nice, and it's also going to help you secure the range creep if you are playing core shaker. But if you're going to be playing support shaker, you should be going from mana boots into a wand. You can get a bracer if you're struggling quite a bit. Make sure you buy some smokes so you can easily rotate around the map and make plays. This hero is a playmaker. It's not a hero that you want to stay very static in the lane. You want to be moving around, making plays to the mid lane, making plays to the off lane or the safe lane, and try and make plays as much as possible. But then you're going to go for a blink dagger, a shard, and then you can go for Yules or Force Staff. Glimmer, you can go for it as well. Glimmer is quite strong. You can get a solar crest as well. Very underrated item right now. Pavis is a really good item, especially for your team. Pavis just eats a lot of damage right now. I really think it's a super strong support item in the current meta. Let me know what you guys think about Pavis. I was playing against the team the other day and I was doing absolutely no damage against this item. It's just way too strong for what it actually costs. So I think building Pavis is definitely very underrated. I don't think it's a priority on shaker, but if you are struggling or you want to buff up your team, you can definitely build a solar crest. It's definitely nice, but I definitely wouldn't recommend you to rush that item. Now I'm going to be breaking up some of shaker's best and worst matchups. So typically you're good up against illusion heroes, so Meepo, Phantom Lancer, Naga Siren, Broodmother. Any hero that spawns a lot of units, you're going to do very well as, because your Aftershock and your Echo Slam are always going to benefit from that. And you really do a lot of work against Phantom Lancer and Meepo. You are really strong against Meepo, and Meepo is really prevalent in the meta. So I have a feeling Earthshaker's win rate is going to continue to climb because you're going to be getting a lot of value just from having that Echo Slam. You might not be able to one-shot him just because Mega Meepo is so strong, but you're going to be able to damage him enough to where your team might be able to come in and deal with the Meepo accordingly. Also, your fissure is nice because you can just protect your team from him collapsing on you guys. There's a lot of things the shaker can do against a hero like Meepo, and he is currently the highest win rate hero in Dota, at least according to Dota 2. On Dota buff, I believe it's Abaddon. You're still pretty good against Abaddon on the Earthshaker. Fissure is just very annoying, again, for all these heroes that just want to stick on top of you, and then enchant totem just helps you kite them out. And if they don't have ultimate, you can just echo slam them into a creep wave and they're going to die. It's going to be very nice. You also get a lot of kills on the support shaker, so if you guys aren't into supporting a whole ton and you guys just want to make plays and rotate around the map similar to a Tusk or a Pudge, you can easily play the shaker. It'll do more or less the same role because you can constantly rotate around the map. Now I'm going to be breaking up some of his worst matchups. So So some of his worst matchups are Spectre, Templar Assassin, Clockwork, Huskar, Viper. These types of heroes that do damage over time or can easily burst you can become a really big problem for the Shaker, as you are a low armor hero, but you are still really tanky. But in most of the cases, Templar Assassin with a blink and a Desolator can easily blow you off the map. It's just not going to be very fun. And Spectre is just really strong. You don't do a whole lot to the hero. Even with a well-placed Echo Slam, he will most likely not care a whole lot. Spectre is just a really tough hero to bring down. Huskar can kind of be a hit or miss. If the Huskar jumps you, you can fissure him, you can Echo Slam him, you can enchant totem to hold him down. You can also build a vessel on the Shaker. It's not the craziest thing out there. It's definitely very situational, but you can still build a vessel on the Shaker against the Huskar. If you are struggling with the hero and you have no vessel buyers on your team, you can definitely buy it. It's going to delay your blink timing, so you might just stick with an urn, go back for the blink, and then eventually go back to completing the spirit vessel. It's definitely up to you. You can definitely pull that off. He can definitely be a nice vessel buyer, especially because he's making a lot of space around the map. It's a really good hero to buy. And Clockwork is just extremely annoying. He gets on top of you. You can't fissure, you can't enchant totem, you can't Echo Slam, you can't blink. The hero just destroys you. He does so much to you. Same with the Timbersaw. Timbersaw is really strong against Shaker, not only because he's a strength hero, just because he can easily get on top of you and you can have a lot of issues with that. But what I'd like to say is for you guys to focus on placing well-placed fissures, because sometimes you can end up griefing your team, and it's going to happen every single game. No matter if you're a good Shaker player or not, it's going to happen. Fissure is not a very easy ability to land perfectly every single time. Sometimes a hero has a lot more mobility than you thought, or sometimes you just misplaced it because you misclicked, and it could easily grief your team, and it can be a problem sometimes. So you guys should be a lot more patient with your fissure usage, and with your Echo Slam you can be a lot more liberal with it. I see a lot of Shaker players just waiting for the perfect 5-man Echo Slam. You can't be waiting on that. Even if you're a core or a support, don't wait for the perfect Echo Slam. Just use it. If there's a high priority kill like a mid laner or a safe laner and you need to deal with them, use your Echo Slam. Use the ability. I know it's long cooldown, but you are going to secure the kill with Echo Slam. Use it, because you're going to be doing better off with a dead mid laner or dead safe laner just because you used Echo, rather than holding the ability for you to get that beautiful 5-man Echo Slam, which sometimes actually does nothing. If you guys are Shaker players, let me know in the comments how many times this has happened to you, where you think you're going to blink into 5 heroes, Echo Slam, and completely crush them, but you fall short on damage and just end up getting obliterated. It happens more often than not, so don't always go for that 5-man play. Try and secure the kills with Echo Slam. Even if it's a solo or a dual Echo Slam, you're still going to be getting a lot of value. Just make sure you communicate with your team so you have the follow-up needed, just in case you don't have enough damage between all your combo. Currently, the meta is very death ball-y, so you guys can actually benefit a lot from putting a hero like Shaker in your hero pool, because Shaker can actually team fight very, very well. Not only with Echo Slam, with Fissure and Enchant Totem, you're going to be putting in a lot of work, and you can easily get blink at a pretty nice timing, even on the support position. You're able to deathball with your team a lot better than most supports can, so you can easily take advantage of this, because most team compositions right now either revolve about playing for the late game but also have early game, or they're just very early game focused and they want to deathball. This support is really good against deathball, because obviously the more clumped up they are, the better of an Echo Slam you're going to get. And even if they start splitting away from each other, you can always put a well-placed fissure and help your team reposition and get a much better fight. And once you get your shard, it's very annoying, and you might be able to do a lot more with that. It's a really nice shard. I highly recommend it. You could wait and get it from Tormentor if you're having a really tough time and you feel like you need to get an item like Force Staff, or you might need to get a Glimmer or a Solar Crest. Then definitely prioritize that and don't get the shard, and maybe wait for Tormentor if you're lucky. But if you are having a pretty decent game, you should always get your shard right after Blink. You can get Ether Lens as well. It's a pretty solid item. More often than not, I don't typically pick up the item a whole lot unless I'm going to get a ton of value off of it. Otherwise, I'd rather spend the gold on something else, like maybe a Yule Scepter, and then eventually turn it into a Wind Waker. Because once you have Wind Waker and Octarine Core, you're going to be doing a lot. It's going to be very difficult to kill you. You're going to have that cooldown reduction from Octarine, and that Wind Waker is just going to go into work, and you can basically do whatever you want around the map and easily get away with Wind Waker. It's a really strong item, and it's definitely for the late game, but it's very, very solid. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a comment down below and let me know if you guys are going to be playing core Earthshaker, and how do you guys feel about Shaker in the current meta right now. Do you guys prefer him as a core, or do you guys prefer him as a support? Currently, I think support is much better for him right now for the death ball meta. I think he's a little bit slow for the offlane, but I'd definitely like to know in the comments. Subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.